Hello there, Peter from Universal Dork back again, and today wanted to talk about something that I'm seeing trending all over the internet. For the past week, I keep seeing that the Goonies sequel is the talk of the town. And over the years, I've always wanted there to be a sequel to the Goonies. I guess better late than never, hopefully. Apparently, it's on the table and in serious consideration. And today I wanted to talk about 5 ways that I think that they will fuck up the Goonies sequel. Now, that movie is a very special one that I hold dear to my heart. In 1985, I was 11 years old, the target demographic for that film, and I couldn't have loved it more. It was one of my favorite movies, and to this day, I think it's one of the greatest 80s films of all time. It's got that charm of an Indiana Jones film, but for kids, but at the same time, not watered down. It's got crazy action scenes, amazing set pieces, wild practical effects, incredible characters, pretty awesome comedy, and it's got a lot of suspense and legitimate scares in it as well. So to replicate that again in 2024 in this landscape, I'm skeptical. So the first way that I think that they're going to screw everything up royally is with the story. Because I've noticed over the years that everything that we seem to get, aside from a few movies, maybe like Top Gun, Maverick, and Cobra Kai, most of these other movies are essentially just retelling stories, rehash storylines. You're getting a reboot or a remake that's disguised as a sequel. That is some lazy-ass, tired filmmaking. We don't need to follow the one-eyed Willie thing again and do the whole thing over again. Now, obviously, there's probably going to be some treasure hunting going on here, which is essential for a Goonies movie. Hollywood seems to think that audiences are really stupid and they can just give us some cheap nostalgia dump. You know, a trip down memory lane, nothing new, no original story, and we're not going to notice. Well, the time's up. We do notice. The hero's journey's fine. All of that's cool, but we've got to go in some new directions for our favorite characters because it's a truly special event to bring them back together and have them go on one more quest together. So let's get inventive here, Hollywood. Stop trying to recreate that old magic and let's create some new magic. Now, the second way that they're probably going to fuck this thing up is that they are not going to put the maximum focus on the original Goonies that we know and love so much. So what they'll probably do is have them kind of more in the background. Now, we saw this problem a lot in the Star Wars films, where we all wanted to see Luke Skywalker, Han, Leia, all together, Chewbacca, the whole gang. We wanted them back together for one more adventure. What I would have done there is have them be the focal point of this sequel trilogy, bring in new characters, and gradually bring those new characters more prominently into the film's plot as the movies progressed. By the third film, we've become attached to them. We give the old cast their moments to shine, and we give the new cast their moments to shine too, to help out the old cast with the threat at hand. So that would be one of the biggest mistakes that I'm sure that they're going to do. They're going to come up with a cast of new Goonies. They're probably going to focus on them, and I know that they seem to think that these older characters, people aren't that interested in them. That is their biggest weakness there. We all want to see the original Goonies back together. And we've got, Ke Quan. We just did a video about Ke Huy Quan, the movie Breathing Fire from 1991. And it just so happens that this has just come right after that. And now I'm looking at this in a whole different way. Make these guys front and center. Corey Feldman, Sean Astin. Come on. This is very important. To not showcase the original characters will be one of the biggest downfalls. And I guarantee Hollywood will probably do this and fuck this up. Now, the third way that they're probably going to screw this up is they will film this in studios with green screens. We're going to have a lot of digitally enhanced backgrounds and stuff like that. Now, the biggest charm of the Goonies, I think, aside from the characters, is the settings and locations and sets that they filmed this stuff in. Incredibly organic, like you're actually there. It feels tangible, like a real thing. To really achieve some of the magic of the 80s films, I think that a lot of these studios could really benefit having hands-on artistry, making real sets, filming in real stunning and exotic locations for movies like Goonies 2. We want to believe that they are actually there and they're not on some weird soundstage with a green screen behind them with a bunch of people running around with dots on their faces. Go back to that old style. In fact, maybe use real film and do this shit. They've got so much money. They've got the mega bucks to do this type of thing. And I fear that Hollywood has just gotten too damn lazy to work out really great shots, lighting, and all of the stuff that used to be so important. They need to be on location, real sets, real caves, the whole shebang. Point number 4, probably involving the comedy that would be in a sequel to the Goonies. The original Goonies has some pretty razor-sharp humor in it and really great kid actors delivering most of the lines. And they were really allowed in that film to be kids. And they felt like real kids. So they were saying stuff that they probably weren't supposed to. They were being offensive at times. I mean, look at a movie like Stand By Me. That is one of the main reasons why that movie is so fucking brilliant, is that the kids are very, very believable characters. And that's a problem that I think that we've got with modern cinema, being too afraid to offend people in films nowadays. I do think that there are films from the 1980s where the comedy is absolutely horrible, and we would definitely not want to revisit that again. But if you're going to do a Goonies sequel, and you're going to keep that comedy in spirit with the original, there's too many bigwigs in Hollywood that are telling people what they shouldn't say and what they should say. We've got to remember, characters in films are not supposed to act the way that you want them to. They're not supposed to abide by all of the rules of the internet and all of that stuff. They're characters in a film. They're meant to make you upset. They're meant to make you feel emotion. And sometimes they're meant to make you feel a bit uncomfortable and make mistakes. So I think that in order to make a great Goonies sequel, you're going to have some really well thought out, well-timed comedy that keeps the spirit and tone of the 1980s intact. That's going to be very difficult, and they're definitely going to fuck that up. All right, so the last point, I think they are going to use a lot of really terrible CGI. Most of these films now are just jam-packed, bloated to the max with laughably bad CGI. I'd be curious what you think. Would you be really excited about seeing a lot of CGI in a Goonies movie? Because I think that that would be sort of the death of that film, is to not feature largely, predominantly, if not 100% practical effects. I mean, they've got the money to do this stuff. Imagine now if they took the billions of dollars that they had, millions into these movies, steered themselves clear for, say, a movie like Goonies, and they said, we're going to do this as a true Goonies sequel. We're going to use no CGI. We're going to film things all on set, all real practical effects. You know, the way they did Sloth. They might even be tempted now to do a similar character as a fully rendered CGI entity. And that sort of stuff takes me right out of the movie. We need to feel like the Goonies are in real danger. And I don't want to see a bunch of CGI bullshit flying all around, CGI monsters. I mean, they took that original octopus out of the finale of the Goonies, from what I understand, was because it just did not look convincing enough. So they decided to take that out of the film, and I'm glad that they did. Let's stick to the bare basics of a Goonies adventure, and that's a very real feeling, practical effects, real sets, real caves. Give us the whole 9 yards here. This is a once-in-a-lifetime cinematic event to make a sequel to a beloved 80s classic. Why not just go full old school? Come on, Hollywood. Yeah, let's get these filmmakers, let's give them a challenge. Everyone's being too lazy now with all this technology. So that's it. That is my prediction for the Goonies film, the sequel. Tell me what you think. Am I completely crazy here? What do you think? Am I just too old and out of touch? Probably, but I don't give a fuck. That's what I want. I've been a Goonie since fucking 1985, and I'm really curious if I'm way off base here, or if modern Goonies fans, young and old alike, what do you want to see in a sequel? And do you have any faith that if they do make a sequel, are they going to hit a home run or strike out once again? All right, until next time, Goonies never die.